And here we are. We qualified P1 and P3 in Q2. That is probably the best qualifying result Sauber has ever had. Welcome to this video. And today we received an email from our personnel officer, Embry. It has appeared that Valterri Bottas and his race engineer, some tension between these two. I believe it's the time that us as the team principal that needs to step in there and intervene with their relationship. Confirm? We haven't heard back from those two, but our other race engineer Alex seems to work really well. I guess he really learned a lot from John. His performance rating increased. That's good news.
Track is green.
So here we are at the sprint qualifying session 1. This is the first qualifying session for the sprint race.
We're now at P12.
Nice. Zhou Guanyu secured a P12, and Valterri Bottas landed on P11
We think this is good.
on his first flying lap. So both okay results. The qualifying session is running short, so we decided to get Zhou out there for another try. It looks like Zhou on his flying lap is getting a tow from Logan Circuit in front of him. And he has qualified for a P9 position in the SQ1. That is great job, Zhou. And sorry, Bottas. Didn't leave you much time to complete your second flying lap. That is the team's fault.
Later.
There's a red flag. What happened? Oh, Yuki Tsunoda.
I'm an idiot.
You're not wrong. Okay, that is great news for us because everyone else, literally everyone else, used their medium tire to start a flying lap. But they couldn't complete the flying lap because of the red flag, and now Zhou is the only car left with a brand new medium tire. So after the qualifying resumes, we decided to send Zhou out as soon as possible to start his first flying lap. Yes!
We are P3.
A few moments later.
Here we go! The sprint in Shanghai! And it's lights out, and away we go!
Alright, and Zhou Guanyu is starting his first lap of the sprint race on his first home race. And he is fighting for the 11th position with Alex Albon, and it looks like he had it for a second. There might be a minor fault in Valtteri Bottas' gearbox, but it's not affecting much right now. And from the head, Zhou Guanyu just overtakes Alex Albon on the straights. That is a brilliant move. He retakes his position at P11. Let's look at this overtake again from the audience view. That is why home race is very important for a driver, especially for Zhou, as he's the first Chinese F1 driver ever. And look at his confidence level. He is very, very confident right now. Zhou is catching up to Daniel Ricciardo ahead. He is in the DRS zone. So now Zhou will have DRS on the straight.
Currently P11.
Even though he runs out of battery, but he's still closing in fast to Daniel Ricciardo ahead. And it looks like Daniel Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton, as well as Lance Stroll, is in a fight for the last point position for this sprint race, and it is a fierce fight. Maybe Zhou can get something out of it. We're telling Zhou to use overtake.
How are the tires?
I am feeling good, guys.
There he goes. Zhou Guanyu overtakes Lewis Hamilton.
See you later.
That's
Nice work. We are in P10.
Let's watch this again. There we go. That was a swift action right onto the straights. The DRS barely started working and he's already making the move. That was a brilliant overtake. Zhou is attacking again.
Copy.
He is through! He overtakes Lance Stroll. He's up to the 9th place, to only 1 place away from the points.
Keep this up. Currently at P9.
Now this was Valtteri Bottas. They decide to give it a go. And now Bottas moves up the field.
That was quite chaotic. Valtteri Bottas and Fernando Alonso comes from both sides of Lewis Hamilton. Lewis almost got sandwiched. After charging up his battery, Zhou is now right behind Daniel Ricciardo. And onto the straights. Zhou's making the move! He is flying with DRS ahead, and he is through. He overtakes Daniel Ricciardo on the straights, and can he hold his position?
Good work.
Wait a minute, something happened with George Russell. He locks up.
It was George Russell involved. Things look fine here. Struggling with the car. What caused that, I wonder?
George Russell had a huge lockup. Zhou is now up in the 7th position. Let's see if he can use this straight to attack.
3 laps to go.
Copy.
And he makes the move. He is through. Daniel Ricciardo dropped to the 10th position, and Bottas is up 1. Oh! That was Fernando Alonso and Daniel Ricciardo right behind Zhou and Bottas. They were in the fight for the 10th position and they crashed into each other. Looks like Zhou is getting the 8th place. Look at that. First point of the season. Wow. This is a dream coming true. Both Mercedes are out of the points and they're both behind Sauber. You can see how well our car performs on this track.
First points of the year, how does that feel?
It's a relief, you know. I think happy is probably not the word, relief is the word. It's been a long season that where we come from.
It's only been a few hours after the sprint race and we are in the qualifying sessions for the race on Sunday. The Sauber strategy team has learned a few lessons, and look at them now releasing Zhou to do his flying lap right after Lando Norris, one of the fastest car on the paddock right now. And they did the same thing where Carlos Sainz from Ferrari is out to do his qualifying lap. That's when they released Valtteri Bottas onto the track. And look at how well that strategy pays off. Zhou is up in P2 so far in Q1, right after Lando Norris, getting a better lap time than Lance Stroll, Carlos Sainz, all these top teams with faster
I think
cars.
this is good.
Alright, Q1 is ending. Both Sauber drivers has got into Q2. Sauber is repeating the strategy. releasing Bottas right after Oscar Piastri, and Zhou right after Max Verstappen, although Daniel Ricciardo did got in front of him. And again, it has paid off. Valtteri Bottas qualified at P3 so far, and Zhou at P6. Zhou is in the elimination zone, so we send him out again. And Zhou did deliver a good lap. Overall, he achieved a faster lap, but it still wasn't fast enough to get him into the top 10, so he was eliminated as P13th. Coming to Q3, again, Valtteri Bottas coming out after Max Verstappen. See how he did this lap? He is now in the 6th position.
So just watch out for Bottas behind.
Copy.
It's Sergio Checo Perez!
So, in the race tomorrow, our drivers, Valtteri Bottas, will be starting in the 7th place on the 4th row, and Zhou Guanyu will be starting at 13th place.
It's almost time for the Chinese Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
Alright, the race started, and Valtteri Bottas is in the fight with George Russell. Zhou is side to side with Kevin Magnussen. Looks like Valtteri is getting an edge, but the Mercedes is slightly faster. But coming out of this corner, Valtteri Bottas definitely has more speed, and he overtakes George Russell here. He is moving on into attacking the 2 McLaren in front of him, fighting for a 6th position, and while the 2 McLaren were fighting each other, Valtteri Bottas see a chance opening, and there he is, overtaking Oscar Piastri from the inside. And Piastri is not backing down, he's trying to take his position back, but Valtteri Bottas has well defended his corners and gaining the position. And here we go on the straights. The McLaren driver has more speed plus DRS to help him to gain his position back from Valtteri. And is Valtteri gonna let this go, or is he going to fight it back as well? Meanwhile, Zhou overtakes Lewis Hamilton and regains his position back from a few laps before.
Gonna try my best.
Oh, and a fairly substantial crash there. And that won't do their confidence any good.
There was a virtual safety car following Logan Sargent's crash. But then just a few laps later, at the same turn, here's Kevin Magnussen losing it just like Logan Sargent. And here we go, another virtual safety car. Here's Valtteri Bottas getting overtaken by Fernando Alonso around the corners. But then he quickly defended his position and get ahead of Alonso. It is the final few corners for the last lap, but Lewis Hamilton is attacking Valtteri Bottas for the 9th position. Can Valtteri Bottas hold up his 2 points? It looks like Lewis Hamilton is through. And with only a few corners left, the chance of Bottas getting that position back is very, very slim.
Yes, thanks everyone.
Out and onto the podium steps Charles Leclerc, the driver from Monaco, really deserving of that top 3 spot.
That takes him up to 3 wins this season. They proved just so hard to beat.
Alright, so the Chinese Grand Prix is over. Valtteri Bottas scored a point as well. Both drivers scored a point during this race weekend. That is great news. We are now 7th place in the Constructors' Championship. Well, the last 3 teams doesn't have any points yet. In terms of drivers, we are now 13th and 14th in the driver standings. So overall, I think this is a great news for us. We did had a very bad pit stop for Valtteri. We had a 6.7 second. Fortunately, though, that didn't prevent him from getting a point. Here's a comeback from that driver-engineer tension. Looks like our intervention worked. The tension between Valtteri Bottas and Zhang Howard was improved. I'd like to think that also has something to do with our successful race weekend at Shanghai. I mean, when you finally scored a point, even though it's just 1 point, that has to improve your relationship with the team and, you know, give a positive bonus to your mentality. So, yeah, I think it's a happy ending. Alright, here we are at the Miami Grand Prix. This is the sprint qualifying results. Valtteri Bottas made it into top 10. And the good news for us is that the sprint race as well as the qualifying sessions later on Saturday are all going to be in a rainy, wet track condition. That is pretty beneficial for us since we have the worst end of the cards, and the rain is going to even up the gap between our cars. And that has proven to be true. During the sprint race, Valtteri Bottas gained 2 positions from 10th to 8th and getting a point from the sprint race. That is the second in a row point in sprint race for the Sauber team, which is fantastic news.
And well done, Valtteri Bottas. A points finish in today's sprint.
There will definitely be some lessons to learn for them, but this was solid work.
Brilliant job. Well done, Valtteri. It looks like we have some luck with the sprint races. Alright, so let's wait a few hours, and up next will be the qualifying. And we're into Q2. Both Sauber drivers got into Q2, but shout out to Valtteri Bottas for his P3 finish. That is absolutely animal. And during Q2, Yuki Tsunoda crashed on turn 15, so he had to end his flying lap early.
Just look at how wet the asphalt is. And unable to do anything about that crash. Now their confidence will have taken a hit with that.
And that has caused a chain effect, because halfway through Q2, our weather report shows that the damp on the track is decreasing. So we've decided to put both our drivers into intermediate tires. Yuki Tsunoda's second flying lap gives Zhou a little toe ahead. And we send out Valtteri Bottas for his final flying lap just in time. And here we are. We qualified P1 and P3 in Q2. That is probably the best qualifying result Sauber has ever had. And in Q3, we still maintained a P7 and 8 position.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
And we are at the start of the race. The fighting in the front rows are very fierce. Valtteri Bottas is attacking Fernando Alonso through the corners, and he is through. He's up in the 4th position. And what's going on back here? Logan Sargent and Lewis Hamilton having crashed into each other, and this seems like this time Lewis Hamilton's front left wing didn't really work. And the FIA decided that there's no penalty given after investigation. And the two Saubers are together again, but Zhou is on a one-stop strategy still. There is a red flag on the track. The race has stopped. And that is not good news for Zhou, because he just pitted a few laps back to change into a new tire. And that is Yuki Tsunoda again, second crash in this weekend.
We're set once more, and soon we'll continue this race. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Every car on the grid right now has changed into a soft tire for the last 10 laps, and this is going to be a fierce fierce competition. Oh, there goes Valtteri Bottas overtaking two cars at the same time. He has overtaken Lance Stroll and Daniel Ricciardo in one corner. That is arguably the best overtake so far of the season. And meanwhile, Zhou overtakes Ocon.
Now we're through the last turn here. The opportunity's there. And now Bottas moves up the field.
Valtteri Bottas is on the roll. He just overtook George Russell and now he just overtakes his ex-teammate Lewis Hamilton. He's destroying the Mercedes. And Zhou Guanyu is overtaking Daniel Ricciardo and he squeezed into his corner. That was not exactly the easiest to overtake, but it certainly has worked.
Now this was Valtteri Bottas.
And here goes Valtteri Bottas again, getting himself into the 7th position. He is a monster.
That takes them to 7th place.
But that didn't last long. There are currently 3 cars chasing Valtteri Bottas at the same time. He got overtakes by Fernando Alonso and George Russell. Is he gonna get his position back? No, the race is ending. Valtteri Bottas finally finished the race in P9 and Zhou finished in P12.
That is the checkered flag.
What an excellent drive there from Valtteri Bottas.
I tell you what, they had to work hard for those points today. What a phenomenal achievement that is.
Pure elation there as the driver regroups with a team that worked so hard to see this moment. And the Monegasque driver certainly proved his worth with a terrific drive today.
4 superb wins to their name now this year, and it's been a pleasure watching them drive.
So this is it for the Miami Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc somehow got into the first place again 4 times in a row. That is, I don't know how he did it. A 9th finish for Valtteri Bottas, getting an extra 2 points for him, and that has brought his driver's standings up to the 11th position, as well as our team ranking. Nothing changed. Our championship points have gone to 5 points. On to the pit stops. This is continued to be an issue. Both our drivers had suffered at least one longer than usual pit stops, especially Zhou. That was an almost 8-second pit stop. If that went the other way, maybe he will also be getting a point for this race weekend. And coming up, we are renewing. We're in the contract negotiation with Zhou. Here is currently our offerings: $4 million for salary and a 2-season contract, still the number 2 driver. And let's see if he can agree with those terms. So this is pretty much it for this video, and please like and subscribe if you like this series, if you like the way I am making these videos. This is very important for me, and I thank you a lot for your support. We will see you next time in Imola.